Welcome to episode 1 of the Tribal Customer Experience series, where across 4 episodes we're going to be talking everything and anything to do with customer experiences. Joining us for this journey we're going to go on is Yasmin Borain, our Chief Experience Officer. Welcome, Yasmin.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Excellent. Yasmin, please introduce yourself to the audience listening today.
I've recently joined Tribal, and before I was at companies like RGA, Publicis Sapient, and McCann. I've been working in London across Europe for the last 9 years, and I can't believe it's been 9 years already. But before that, I was in San Francisco, and when I moved to San Francisco, I moved during that bubble and moved there to do my master's degree. And I spent my first 2 years actually working on a smart environment, which is really exciting with some of the topics that we're speaking about today. So in my career in itself, I feel like I've been really fortunate to have worked with some of the most creative thinkers and brands, whether it's been Bang & Olufsen or Nike or Burberry or British Airways. It's just been a really interesting ride so far.
Fantastic, Yasmin. Well, obviously it's been a pleasure welcoming you aboard Tribal. So this is episode 1, where we're going to be talking about the evolution of human-first relationships, where we're going to be discussing the value that goes beyond just sort of simply selling a product or a service, and how to go about creating human experiences for tomorrow. So Yasmin, please take us through this super interesting topic.
Yeah, so, human first experiences are more important than they've ever been before. And it's because they focus on the needs, not the solutions. And that's about building empathy and connections with real people in their lives. And that is what really matters. To a consumer, the value goes way beyond that purchase moment. People see value as the current needs their current needs being met across the entire journey. So knowing when and how to meet those needs is really key. And we see this when companies actually empathize with the individuals and they give them the ability to personalize their experience. This leads to engagement, it leads to trust. And, a great example of this is Nike by You. So everyone knows Nike ID, which has allowed, people for years, I think 20 years, to customize their own shoes. But last year, Nike started looking at the next generation of consumers. And what they found is that they need to change their product to better connect with people today. So they moved away from Nike ID, which is more focused on them and the product, to creating an experience that was more focused on the user. So I think it's just really about bringing more humanity back to our products and services.
Why do you think so many brands and organisations, really struggle to get human-centered design right?
Well, first of all, they don't do the research, they don't do the research to understand what people need and value, which then prevents them from providing true value to the customers. Second, the mere volume and variety of the customer data is overwhelming them, and they don't necessarily have the right technologies in place to understand it. However, the biggest barrier that's still today is that lack of operating as a customer-centric organization. So companies that have kind of moved to a cultural shift of focusing on the customer and living and breathing the needs of customers across their entire organization have really become more successful. And you can see this because it impacts everything from their employee to partnership engagement, the whole way through to their customer experience.
What would you say, to someone that may argue that all this is well and good, but in reality, a large proportion of consumer relationships, are simply transactional, and that is okay. For instance, if I go to buy a pint of milk, I just want a pint of milk. I don't really mind how well Tesco knows me as a human. So I guess the point there is how can businesses really learn when and how to sort of dial up and down that relationship at the right moments so that it's personalised but not intrusive?
Yeah, if someone needs to buy milk, that is their current need. So brands just need to let them do that. But a customer's journey is never that simple. At the end of the day, people care about connections. And companies need to identify those moments that matter most and the signals within those moments as well. So one person will come into a store and know they want milk, they'll find it, they'll leave, and they'll be happy. But someone else will come in and they'll be looking for oat milk, and they won't be able to find it in the same location as the other milks. And when they can't find it, they look to you, and they need you or your staff members to help them. So when they do need you, you need to be there. So what's really important is being present. So human first experiences isn't just about understanding customer needs, but it's about being able to flex at any point for their needs.
And I guess a question that comes to mind as well, Yasmin, is sort of technology like AI and capabilities like real-time data. They seem to really be taking a long time to come to market en masse. I mean, I remember I was having my first real-time data conversation, over 6 years ago now. And to many, these seem to be critical keys to unlocking human-first relationships. So what are your opinions on what businesses can be doing now, perhaps without such advancements, and how can they prepare for the time when these what I would call enablers are more widely utilised?
Yeah, and it's a great question, because while emerging technologies can be powerful tools to improve your story and increase your engagement, they are not the only way. AI might provide the data and insights, but it doesn't come up with the ideas, or it doesn't make the engagement or bring the humanity to the service. So all organizations, with or without the right technologies, need to focus on their current customers. Look at the restaurant industry in the last 6 months. There are some great examples of how they connect with people without knowing all the details or their habits. So one of the examples that I love is Chipotle. They knew people couldn't gather together for meals, so they offered a group order feature so that people could order foods to their addresses and eat together. It didn't take them to create any new technology to be able to do that. Now, preparing for the emerging technologies like AI and others, my advice would be that if you haven't already, ask yourself what technologies really fit best for the future of your business, and then start having those conversations and creating a plan.
Look, that's been a really interesting conversation with Yasmin today. I think you'll agree. Clearly, there's a lot more to be talked about around the evolution of human-first relationships than we could possibly fit into this quick episode. So, if anything has sort of prompted you to want to look into this in any more detail, more than happy to set up a call with Yasmin and myself to meet you and discuss the evolution of human-first relationships in the context of your own business. As I mentioned at the start, this is a 4-episode series, and in the next episode we're going to be talking about not thinking differently and acting differently. So be sure to tune into that, and see you next time.